Stephanie Mitchell Hughes is an attorney, writer, and speaker. She openly shares her personal story on her blog, stephaniemitchell.com, to encourage others through life's hard places. Stephanie talked about how she learned to openly embrace the hard and difficult places in her own life at TEDx Columbus, Ohio. She blogs for the Huffington Post, is an architect of change for mariashriver.com, and a reporter for the Shriver Report. Her work also appears in selfhelpforyoursuccess.com, medium.com, and Project Eve. Let's welcome Stephanie.
Good afternoon. Today I'm going to read a piece that is one of the first depression pieces that I wrote that appears in mariashriver.com. It is called Depression, the Word That Must Not Be Named, which is a play on Voldemort from Harry Potter. So, in any event, growing up, I was taught that African Americans do not publicly discuss or, quote, put our personal business in the street. But I believe that as a community, we must break our silence and openly discuss certain unmentionable subjects so that the veil of shame can be lifted and healing can begin. Depression has traditionally been one of these unmentionable subjects. I have experienced debilitating bouts of depression since I was about 15 years old. During these bouts, death stalked me daily. I was constantly tortured by a loud voice inside my head that pushed and taunted me to end my life. Sadly, I endured this torture in silence for 29 years before deciding to finally take medication to treat my depression. Given the vice grip that my loud inner voice had on my mind, it is only by grace and mercy that I am still here. Arresting my loud inner voice has been a process. Early on, that loud voice was powerful and nearly drove me to the brink of ending my life. I can remember holding a large quantity of pills in my hand, prepared to ingest all of the medication, but something inside would not allow me to do it. The mind is incredibly powerful. Through counseling and treatment, I now understand that my loud inner voice was not offering comfort, peace, or freedom, but setting the stage for horrific pain. Slowly, I learned to take that loud inner voice and the destructive thinking that it promotes captive, silencing it before it starts. At the outset, I must admit that I hate taking any type of medication. In my case, finding the right medication to treat my depression was made all the more complicated because I was uninsured. My then treating physician started me on a dose of 10 milligrams of Lexapro daily, which gave me about 7 good days a month. After about 3 months, my doctor increased my dosage to 20 milligrams of Lexapro daily. While helpful, it became apparent that Lexapro alone was not enough. It took about 18 months to find a combination of medications that worked. It was then that my ego took over. I began what became a destructive cycle of taking my depression medication as prescribed for 4 or 5 months, and then stopping abruptly because I began to feel better. I didn't want to rely upon pills to manage my depression. This practice proved disastrous. Abruptly stopping depression medication can trigger other life-threatening conditions. Once the medications were out of my system, I would mentally unravel and break down. Trust me, mentally unraveling is scary. I'll also add that it's not pretty either. I cry and fall apart completely. I become overwhelmed and cannot think straight. On a few occasions, I have even been suicidal. Eventually, I hit a wall and stopped functioning in any meaningful way. As a single parent, raising children entirely on my own, I do not have the luxury of falling apart. It took a few years of repeating this cycle over and over before I finally got tired of unraveling and all of the drama that comes with it. I decided, or perhaps realized, that I should not be ashamed because I suffer from depression. The real shame or tragedy lies with all of the time I spent neglecting and not accepting my whole physical self and mental self. Why am I so candid about what I call my dance with depression? I am candid about my depression because my continued silence will not help anyone. I share my dance to remind that 15-year-old girl who is lying on her bed in a darkened room, covered by a heaviness that she cannot define, that she is not alone. I openly write about my struggle to encourage others facing the sometimes overwhelming task of managing their own mental illnesses. After all, we are each on the same journey. We need not travel in silence, shame, and isolation. Thank you.